Welcome to our special coverage of the 2024 European Union elections, where 6 key candidates are poised to shape the future trajectory of the EU. From controversies to bold visions, each candidate brings a unique perspective to the table. Join us as we delve into the headlines, analyze the candidates, and ask engaging questions to spark a conversation. Headline 1. Von der Leyen under fire. Vaccine rollout controversy threatens re-election bid. As the 2024 European Union elections approach, Ursula von der Leyen, the president of the European Commission, finds herself in the hot seat. Despite her bold leadership on the European Green Deal and her ambition to make the EU climate neutral by 2050, the bungled COVID-19 vaccine rollout is casting a long shadow over her campaign. Critics argue that procurement failures and transparency issues could derail her re-election prospects. Will her environmental achievements be enough to sway voters? Do you believe Ursula von der Leyen's environmental policies are enough to offset the controversies surrounding the vaccine rollout? How should leaders be held accountable for pandemic management? Headline 2. Youth Rally. Behind Nicolas Schmit's vision for social justice and economic reform. Nicolas Schmit is emerging as the champion of social justice in the 2024 EU elections. His robust agenda for social policies and economic reforms, particularly the European Pillar of Social Rights Action Plan and Youth Employment Initiatives, is striking a powerful chord with young voters. However, the question remains, can Schmit overcome the challenges of implementing his ambitious plans across the EU's varied economies? The stakes are high, and the youth are watching. What are your thoughts on Nicolas Schmit's focus on youth employment and social justice? Can his reforms effectively address inequality across the diverse economies of the EU? Headline 3. Sandro Gozi's campaign shaken by conflict of interest allegations. Sandro Gozi's drive for deeper European integration and digital innovation is hitting turbulence as allegations of conflicts of interest surface. With dual political roles in Italy and France, Gozi faces growing calls for transparency. Supporters laud his vision for a unified and technologically advanced EU, but skeptics demand answers. Can Gozi navigate these choppy waters and prove his integrity to the electorate? How do you think Sandro Gozi should address the conflict of interest allegations? Should politicians be allowed to hold dual roles in different countries? Headline 4. Terry Reintke, a fiery advocate for green policies and social justice. Terry Reintke, a passionate voice for the Greens, European Free Alliance, is electrifying the campaign trail with her unwavering commitment to environmental policies and social justice. In a recent heated debate, Reintke highlighted her influential work on the European Green Deal and her commitment to LGBTQ+ rights. While her positions resonate strongly with progressive and green voters, they also polarize opinions, potentially alienating conservative and economically focused constituents. Can Reintke bridge the divide and unite voters behind her progressive vision, or will her polarizing positions prove too divisive? Do you agree with Terry Reintke's progressive stance on environmental and social justice issues? How can she balance her passionate advocacy with the need to appeal to a broader electorate? Headline 5. Walter Baier's radical anti-austerity stance gains momentum. Amid crisis, in a time of economic uncertainty, Walter Baier's unyielding anti-austerity message is resonating loudly. His calls for increased public investment and robust worker protections are rallying the left-wing base. Yet his radical economic proposals are drawing fire from moderates and conservatives. Can Baier's bold vision for Europe attract the broad support needed to drive real change? What is your opinion on Walter Baier's radical anti-austerity measures? Can extreme economic reforms provide the stability and growth needed in these uncertain times? Headline 6. Bas Eickhout's urgent call for climate action captivates EU voters. Bas Eickhout is capturing attention across the EU with his urgent plea for climate action. Known for his leadership and sharp debating skills, Eickhout demands more aggressive measures to combat climate change. However, his confrontational approach raises questions about his ability to foster the collaboration necessary for policy success. Will Eickhout's fiery advocacy light the way for decisive action? Do you support Bas Eickhout's aggressive approach to climate action? How important is immediate and decisive action on climate change to you? Headline 7. EU voters torn as election campaigns reveal deep divides. As the 2024 EU elections intensify, voters find themselves at a crossroads, deeply divided over the future direction of the Union. From climate change and social reforms to economic strategies and integration efforts, each candidate presents a unique vision. The electorate is critically evaluating who has the vision and capability to lead the EU through these turbulent times. This election could redefine Europe's path forward. How do you feel about the current divisions among EU voters? What issues do you believe should be the top priority in the upcoming elections? Headline 8. Von der Leyen's leadership tested. Navigating post-pandemic EU challenges. Ursula von der Leyen's leadership is under the microscope as the EU navigates post-pandemic recovery. Her handling of the COVID-19 crisis, especially the vaccine rollout, has sparked both praise and criticism. While her strong stance on climate policy remains a beacon of her tenure, the need to address transparency and procurement issues is pressing. The upcoming elections will test her ability to lead the EU into a sustainable and united future. How do you rate Ursula von der Leyen's leadership during the post-pandemic recovery? What challenges do you think are most critical for the EU to address moving forward? Headline 9. Nicolas Schmit's ambitious economic reforms face critical examination. With the 2024 EU elections approaching, Nicolas Schmit's bold economic reforms are under critical examination. His focus on reducing inequality and enhancing social protections has garnered widespread acclaim. However, the practicalities of implementing these reforms across diverse EU economies remain a point of contention. Schmit's ability to convince voters and policymakers of his vision's feasibility will be a decisive factor in his campaign's success. What are your thoughts on Nicolas Schmit's economic reform proposals? Can these reforms be realistically implemented across the EU's diverse member states? Headline 10. Sandro Gozi sparks integration debate with bold EU vision. The debate over European integration is heating up as Sandro Gozi champions a bold vision for a more cohesive EU. Advocating for deeper integration and digital innovation, Gozi faces both enthusiastic support and wary skepticism. His dual political roles add a layer of complexity, with transparency concerns coming to the fore. Can Gozi inspire a unified Europe, or will his campaign be mired in controversy? Do you support Sandro Gozi's vision for deeper European integration? What are the potential benefits and risks of his proposed digital innovations? Headline 11. EU elections in France. Mainland and overseas voters head to polls. 11. The EU elections in France will take place on the 9th of June 2024, marking a pivotal moment for the nation. Voting in the overseas departments of Guadeloupe, Martinique, and French Guiana, as well as in the overseas territories of Saint-Pierre-et-Miquelon, Saint-Barthélemy, Saint-Martin, and French Polynesia, will occur a day earlier on the 8th of June 2024. Additionally, polling stations will be open in French embassies and consulates across the Americas on the 8th of June. These elections come at a critical juncture as voters across mainland France and its territories prepare to influence the composition of the European Parliament for the next 5 years. The outcomes will play a crucial role in shaping the EU's response to pressing issues such as economic instability, migration, and geopolitical tensions. Thank you for watching. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more updates on the 2024 EU elections and other important global issues. Let's stay engaged and make our voices heard.